Hello, it is the Obscurist Tourist here, and today I come to you from a pretty awesome place. Awesome not just because it is in my hometown of Toronto, but right behind me, through that window, through that slate of windows, is one of the most amazing things I have ever seen since my childhood. Because it is in that building behind those windows that a new exhibition, a short-lived exhibition, is taking place. It is called Mr. Dressup to Degrassi, 42 years of legendary kids TV. And one of the things that excites me the most, and I'm sure it probably does for you as well, and that is nostalgia to my childhood and to your childhood. And the characters I'm about to show you right behind that window are going to make your inner child scream with glee. So without further ado, let's head on inside my museum to check out the legendary Kids TV exhibition. So without further ado, let's head on inside my museum to check out the legendary Kids TV exhibition. Let's go. So here we are at 401 Richmond Street West in downtown Toronto at my museum. I actually got very lucky with finding out this exhibition was even going on because I just happened to be following the Museum of Toronto Instagram account, and the Mr. Dressup to Degrassi showcase popped up on my feed. A very, very lucky find indeed. Just take a look at this place and let the nostalgia sink in, because your entire childhood, if you're of a certain age that is right here in this room in some capacity. Just look at this timeline walking you through the evolution of children's television programming in the city over the years. Believe it or not, Toronto was a global player in a golden era for children's television programming from 1952 right on through to 1994, and it helped raise millions of kids over that 40-year period, including me. So let's start our playful journey at the beginning of it all. The 1950s, far before my time. Although I wasn't born when this first aired, I certainly do remember watching reruns of The Friendly Giant in the 1980s. You know, it's very possible this may actually have been the first kids TV show I had ever watched as a child. This castle set is just etched in my memory, just the absolute best. Miniatures. Who doesn't love miniatures? On to the 1960s. Totally forgot about Sesame Park, which I believe inspired its American counterpart some years later in the classic Sesame Street, of course. Here are some examples of TV show albums that were released in the 1960s. If you don't remember TV show albums, they were an actual thing. A nice little reminder that they were. I still have some actually in my collection at home. And of course, who could ever forget Mr. Dressup, which aired so long on TV that it actually doesn't even matter which generation you belong to. Again, one of my earliest and fondest memories as a child was watching this show every single day. And I totally forgot about Elmer. Do you remember Elmer, the safety elephant? How many injuries did Elmer save me from on my bike throughout those formative years? I will never know, but I am thankful. Thanks, Elmer. Now, one of the coolest aspects of this entire exhibition is just how interactive it is. Look at who's here, Casey and Finnegan, and you are even encouraged to try your hand at puppeteering both of them in this reimagined Mr. Dressup set. Don't worry, these aren't the original Casey and Finnegan puppets from the show, but these were recreated in the likeness of the dynamic duo by Puppet Stuff Canada. So thank you, Puppet Stuff. Also, what's that I see? Do you see it? It is none other than the Tickle Trunk. Let's take a peek inside and see what we are destined to become today. Always loved Mr. Dressup for the show's encouragement to explore your imagination. So very, very cool. All right, it is time to head on over to the 1970s. Such a perfect little time capsule. You've got classic shows like Sharon, Lois, and Bram. The Polka Dot Door, a personal favorite, of course, although I'm not sure if that is indeed the Polka Dot Door. And another great educational gem in Read Along. Remember that show? Time for the 1980s, the era directed at me and my generation. I'm so excited for this flashback. Man, this is so cool. Today's special may have been my absolute favorite show when I was a kid. I loved this show so much. I cannot articulate how much I loved this show. What a cast of characters, and all the original puppets are here. Muffy the Mouse, Mrs. Pennypacker, and even Sam Security Man Crenshaw. Just look at those little teeth. Amazing. Brings back so many memories. Look at all this awesome original memorabilia they've accumulated here at the exhibition from over the years. This is bringing back just so much, dredging up so many cool things. It's awesome, but kind of overwhelming in a good way, of course. Board games, puzzles, VHS tapes, books, etchings. It's all here. Remember Star Week? It actually came with the Toronto Star every single weekend. Wow, crazy to think how I lived and died by the listings in this weekly magazine. What a different time it was back then. I feel like I should know the book mice, but I actually don't. I'll admit that openly. How do I not know the book mice? John Candy, Canadian legend. Rest in peace. And what were the 80s without the kids of Degrassi? Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High, one of, in my opinion, the most underrated TV shows in the history of television, purely based on the themes and subjects it tackled in every single episode over the years. I recently rewatched all of Junior High and High, and it really, really holds up. Even the acting is pretty solid. A Canadian institution for sure. I really love the way they have this exhibited here, all these old televisions playing old episodes of the shows. Pretty awesome. And let's head on over to the 1990s, the last decade represented in this exhibition. An era, if I might say, in Canadian television that I probably know the least about because it was during my teenage years that this was all happening. I was way too busy getting in fights, discovering girls, and going to parties. So I'm a bit out of the loop. But I do remember some things. The 1990s for sure belonged to YTV when it came to kids' TV. Remember the Grogs? Absolutely love these old puppets. This one looks strangely more weathered than even the ones from today's special. Very interesting. That is it for me here in downtown Toronto at Museum's legendary Kids TV exhibition. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I had an absolute blast walking into the past. For now, it is the Obscurist Tourist saying so long. Take care of yourselves. Stay beautiful. And until our next adventure, see you later.